Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to beat the Empires of the Undergrowth level 2-1 Rising Tide on Impossible difficulty with the challenge active using mortar ants. Mortars are much weaker than rapid fire, so this is definitely going to be harder. There's two reasons I'm making this video, because I already made a Rising Tide tutorial, but some of the information is outdated, i.e. flat out wrong, and I've since learned more from then, and I have a slightly better strategy, which I'm going to need. Also, I want to do tutorials for every variant of ant in every level. So, mortar ants in the wood ant levels, stun majors in the leaf cutter levels, and pervasive in the fire ant levels. Alright, first thing we do, turn off combat and food gathering for the next group and move everyone to the first group. We are collecting food immediately, so we don't even have to tell them to go anywhere. Every time we get 60 food, we're going to place a gunner down. I call the melee ones tanks and the range ones gunners, just so you don't get confused.
Make haste and stockpile what they can, while they can. Unfortunately for this colony, the Queen's choice of home could not have been worse.
I'm also going to make 3 more workers to increase our harvesting speed. I strongly recommend using hotkeys for all the things like turning food in combat on, removing pheromone markers, and placing down tiles. As you can see, I have hotkeys for pretty much everything. Another reason the main reason I'm making these guys is so they can do nest jobs while the other workers collect food and stuff.
There is food to be found all over the
I'm also going to dig out some of those tiles. I'm going to get the food just to the right of the nest first, then just below it. Then we're going to focus almost entirely on underground food. If you make 4 food tiles here with walls surrounding them, then you can upgrade all of them once. So you don't take up that much space, and you still get a lot of food storage. Gonna expand this area slightly. Nope, almost. Now, mortar ants are... The reason they're so much weaker than rapid fires is because they attack slower, which... they have more damage to make up for that, but it's not enough to actually make up for it completely, so they still have less DPS. And that's assuming they hit all their shots. Their projectiles are slower as well as their fire rate. So half the time, they'll just miss enemies that move fast. And there's a lot of them in these levels. So we're going to collect all this. I'm going to go ahead and dig out this area. Then I'm going to dig out another chamber here for tanks. And now I'm going to start digging around here. I'm going to move these guys into here because if you turn off food gathering and combat on your workers and then set a pheromone marker while they're digging, once they're done digging, they'll immediately run away instead of staying there to get slaughtered.
Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected.
We're going to be using our workers to tank early on, but we're going to make actual tanks very soon. You can right-click on the map to place pheromone markers there. So that's a little bit faster. Another reason mortars are weaker than rapid fire is because they're not worth upgrading 90% of the time. The rapid fires at level 3 get a boost to... They get an effect that decreases enemy attack speed and movement speed. when they hit them, and the attack speed bonus is huge. Movement speed is might as well not even be there because they're not going to move while they're fighting you anyway, but it decreases their attack speed, which is a huge bonus. And so that's really helpful, but at level 3 all mortars get is area of effect damage, but it's not even very much area of effect damage. So you get full damage to one enemy and partial damage to any enemies that are right next to that first enemy. Whereas if you just make 3 level 1s, then you get full damage to 3 enemies. So it's not worth upgrading most ants most of the time. So it's actually better to fight Devil's Coach horses than enemy ants because number 1, you get food from them, but number 2, they're actually weaker. Let's take a look at the damage here. Melee attack damage 5, health 70. And these ones are wood ants. The only ants you find underground are the black ants. So now we just wait for these guys to finish. Go, took a little longer than I was hoping, but that's fine. The reason I'm gathering food from underground is because it's way closer, so it's faster to gather, and if you fight outside, there's all these wood ants running back and forth that you have to contend with, and there's also tiger beetles and other wood ants guarding the outside food. So you're constantly getting attacked by enemies that don't stop spawning, but inside you only have to worry about the first group of enemies, and then once you kill them, the food's free. I'm a little spend happy. Don't do that. Always keep, like, I'd say at least 100 food on you. That's a good rule, roughly that much. I'm also going to start digging out a couple little paths that lead part of the way to the other chambers. That way, when I actually want to dig them out, it won't take as long.
The ants must head for higher ground. Intruders in the nest.
Usually I like to go for this chamber first, then this one, then this one, then these 3. And after that, it doesn't really matter exactly what order you go for them. Although I would recommend doing this one last, as it's the hardest. Yeah, it's just the big one, so that's definitely the hardest. I need to stop overspending. I know that I'm going to get more food immediately anyway, but still. It's not a good habit to get into, and it's one that I just cannot shake. It's not even a skill issue. I know I'm not supposed to do that. I just have poor self-control. Especially when it comes to making the tile shapes look aesthetically pleasing. We still have a good amount of time before the first crabs show up, so I'm not too worried about that. If you dig this exact route, then you won't actually anger any of these groups, and you can start with this one, which has the least amount of ants, then go to this one, and then this one.
The tide is in, and soon night will fall. As the temperature drops outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the roofer colony to stay underground and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning.
Alright, let's just make a couple more tiles. The crabs are out now. By the way, these wandering crabs, they aren't the ones that invade your nest. The ones that invade your nest come directly from here. Also, fun fact.
These creatures are
Oh,
typical
hi.
scavengers, searching for algae
Yeah,
and
see, these
carrion on
ones
the
just
beach.
spawned in.
But due to the unusual
If
incursion
this
of
water's
free
going up and
roof
down,
colonies
if
into
something
this
goes
area,
over here while it's
this
down and then it
particular
goes up
community of
again,
crabs
it'll kill
has
them.
developed a taste
I saw that
for
happen with a hermit crab once, which is weird because they're supposed to be aquatic. That's why they're called crabs.
A hermit crab has found its way into the nest.
A hermit crab,
Its
yes,
fast mount
A2
is
hermit
swift
crabs.
and decisive defense.
If you're on medium difficulty, it is just one hermit crab. But on impossible, you get two. Actually, already, I just tried to record this and I lost. Seriously, mortar ants are terrible. I'm going to get roughly even numbers of gunners and tanks for now. Black Ant Soldier. Melee attack damage 4.4, health 60 of 60. So that's pretty much the same as the Devil's Coach Horse larvae, but there's more of them. So they're actually worse. And you don't get food from them. See this guy? He's right next to our nest. He's not a worry because he's not the one that's going to be entering. Now we're going to move all of our ants to the entrance. I like to fight over here because the respawns can get there faster, but since we're carrying food to the entrance, then I usually fight at the entrance, but we're almost done carrying it, so I'm just going to head back here.
A group of hermit crabs have stormed the nest. The larvae
Now we
must
fight
be
3 of them
protected.
at once. You'll notice I'm still using my some of my workers as tanks. Almost done killing them, so I'm going to go ahead and start prepping tiles. Turn on food gathering. $14 gunners is a good number. I forget if I've mentioned this before, but some people like to just use they like to just use the workers as tanks because they're cheaper, but they die so much faster. I feel like you use up more food than you save just with respawns. Now, I don't think I quite have enough time to dig out another chamber. Something you might try doing is digging out multiple chambers but not looting the food. That way, in between the waves, all you have to do is collect food. You don't have to do any fighting. So you can do that faster. Now we have 7 hermit crabs. This is where I died last time. Seriously, mortars are massively underpowered. What are you doing over there? Get back here. I wish you could see which ants are in which group. That'd be nice.
More hermit crabs have found the nest.
Alright, one of them's way ahead of the others, which is good, because that means most of my ants are going to target it. You want to target them one at a time, because every single one you kill makes the entire rest of the group easier to deal with. Because it lowers their damage by 1 crab's worth. Sounds like a weird name, crab's worth. Unfortunately, the ants do tend to split up their damage quite a lot. I'm actually going to send these guys back here so they can focus on spawning reinforcements faster. It might have been a good idea to make a few more tanks, but we should be okay. When low on health, hermit crabs will retreat into their shells, which gives them a lot more defense and it also makes them heal a bit. Most of the time, all that really does is just make the fight longer, so they might as well just replace it with giving them extra health. But it does have a difference. If it takes you long enough, that ability will cool down, and they can do it again. Alright, once you start seeing bits of food pop up, that means you're close to daytime. Again, I forget if I've mentioned this because I already just tried to record this before, but there are everything in this level happens at a specific time. So if you set up a timer program like LiveSplit, or just get a stopwatch or your phone or something, you actually can tell exactly when everything is going to happen in the level. Alright, so now what we do is we gather all of our ants, and I mean all of them, right outside the entrance. As soon as the water goes down, go for this top food pile. Turn off food gathering and combat. What we're doing is we're going to go past this food and then go up to this food and collect it. Once we get most of our ants here, we're going to turn on food gathering, and they'll collect most of this food, and then later on we can collect this one. The reason we're doing that is because this food is basically inaccessible later on because of how many wood ants are here. But this food is still pretty accessible.
A dead sardine has been washed up on the beach. This feast is too precious to pass up.
Okay, it says this feast is too precious to pass up. It is not worth trying to get it. It is so much slower to harvest food from a giant corpse than it is to just collect individual bits of food.
There are other wood ants out here.
That's the thing, is a lot of these levels just end up not working the way the devs intended, because the intended way to play is not the most effective, and in some cases it just flat out practically impossible, honestly. Gonna send those guys back here. Make more tanks. So now we have to worry about tiger beetle larvae. Oh yeah, another thing is you're supposed to go for the lower levels first because there's less tiger beetles there. And once the tide comes in, you go for the higher levels. That doesn't work because to get to the lower levels, you need to get past all the ants that go through here, all the ants that go through here, and then you also need to contend with these tiger beetles, plus any tiger beetle larvae. And that's not very feasible. It's not very doable, so it's best to just stick to the higher levels most of the time. Turn off combat when you're going for this food because it's just not worth trying to fight off all these ants because they do not stop spawning. Alright, I think now I'm going to continue to collect food from inside. And now what we need to do is make bait tiles. So spiders are going to spawn tonight. First night is all crabs, second night is all spiders, third night is both. And no crab spiders. What the spiders do is once they get in your nest, they will run in between tiles that you've placed, whether they be brood tiles, food tiles, or speed tiles. And they'll run back and forth between them. So what you want to do is create a bunch of tiles all over your nest to confuse them. They'll run around in between those, so you only have to fight a few at a time. Now, in my last video, I specifically used worker tiles because I thought they had to be brood tiles, and I also made a new pheromone marker for each one and kept that ant there. You don't need to do that. Just place speed tiles every now and then, and that works perfectly fine. The more you have, the more confused the... Well, they're not confused, but the more the spiders will wander around. Now, I'm going to make 2 sets of tiles. I'm going to have 2 tanks and 2 gunners two gunner tiles and two tank tiles, rooms, whatever, brood chambers. And the reason for that is because, well, that's a good number to have, but also I'm going to put them next to each other. Because if you have all... If you have... What I used to do is I used to put both gunners up here and both tanks down here. But if you do that, then the spiders that go up here will mow through all your gunners really quickly because they don't have tanks to defend them. And the ones that go down here will slowly pick off your tanks because they don't have any gunners to actually do damage. So you want them both to be next to each other. We're also not going to be upgrading at all, as I mentioned before. So it doesn't really matter where we put the tiles. There's a challenge people like to do called NTC, or No Tiles Connected. I don't know why that's considered a challenge, because you have the same amount of resources, it just takes up more space. So it really doesn't feel like it. It feels more like an annoyance than a challenge. I also want to get a few more workers. And we're going to get rid of these connections to make it easier to fight the spiders. And most of our army is back, so we're going to dig this tile out now.
Predators are loose in the nest.
If you haven't dug out all the underground areas by day 3, focus on that before you go outside. Because, as I mentioned, it's faster and easier to loot them. And if you have any unlooted tiles by the 3rd night, then you're just wasting potential. Now, you can connect these tiles. They don't have to be not connected. That doesn't make it any harder or easier for the spiders to get distracted by them. You generally want to make more... You want to start on your next work project thingy right as you're finishing up the first one. So right as my ants were coming back with the last food, I started digging this area out. Just for efficiency.
The battle has begun.
Again, I forget if I've mentioned this, but you could put your tanks in one group and your gunners in another group, and send your tanks in, then your gunners in right afterwards, to ensure that your gunners are behind your tanks, but I don't find that to be super necessary. Also, tanks are faster than gunners anyway, so they usually just end up like that by default. The more trouble you have with spiders, the more of these bait tiles you want to place. And you can even make little mazes, like you could dig out all the way around here and then go in a circle or something like that to make them take even longer, but that's usually not 100% necessary. Why is this guy just sitting there? Go do something. Actually, this one is going to be better because it's closer, so we'll do that one.
There are intruders in the nest.
I always target just one tile too far. You want to stop once you hit under this thing. So even with the mortars, we have enough that they're actually a threat now. They're actually competent.
The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
I don't want to risk it. Be very careful with trying to do stuff in between waves because you do not have much time. You only have 2 minutes from the start of one wave to the start of the next wave. And like I mentioned, if you use a timer, you can know exactly when that is. I'm going to go ahead and separate these groups out now.
There is another creature roaming the sands tonight. Arctosa parita, the sand bear wolf spider. In the day,
Sand, bear, wolf, spider. That's a lot of different things. It's not only a spider, but it's a wolf spider. It's not just a wolf spider, it's a bear wolf spider. And it's not even just a bear wolf spider, it's a sand bear wolf spider. I'm actually going to just put everyone at the queen for right now. We should be fine with that. Once the wave's over, we'll collect the rest of that food. 54 ants on night 2 is pretty good. Equal numbers of gunners and tanks. If you fight the spiders outside, they actually don't run around and separate to attack all your different tiles. But you don't want to fight outside because you risk getting attacked by all the random enemies that are running around out there, and some of them are incredibly powerful. There's an achievement for preventing any enemies from actually entering your nest. It is so hard because you can just get really unlucky and have like 3 giant hermit crabs attack you all at once. That's usually what happens when you attempt it. It's completely RNG based. Once I get 2 groups of 19 gunners or 19 tanks, I'm going to focus entirely on gunners. I'm also going to make a little bit more food storage. Yeah, I do not have enough time to dig out any other chambers. You do not want your ants to be away from the queen when a wave comes, trust me. No matter how many ants you have, you're probably going to die if that happens. And I've made that mistake many times. That's the thing about this game. Even if you're really good at it, if you get just a little bit cocky and decide to do something different, like, I'm sure I'll be fine, then you die. I would not recommend trying to attack other chambers while you're on night 2 or 3 while you're fighting the spiders, because it takes so long to beat each wave given that they're running all over your nest that it's just not a good idea. Because by the time you finish killing all of these guys, then chances are the next wave is almost there. We're doing pretty well for ourselves. It's nice. One spider left. Yeah, see, he hasn't even attacked us once yet. So that's pretty nice. I always spend more food than necessary just to make my tiles look aesthetically pleasing and be in nice shapes and stuff. That is a very bad habit that you don't want to do. Learn from my... well, they're not really mistakes, I guess. If I do, then I'm on purpose. But learn from my bad ideas and bad decisions. So the reason I recommend using speed tiles to distract the spiders is because brute tiles will, spawn ants, and then your workers will take forever to try and rehatch them. Food tiles will cause your ants to run all the way over there to deposit food. And so you just want to use speed tiles because your ants have no reason to go over there and they're really cheap. It's funny how speed tiles are used for pretty much everything except speed. Used for upgrades, for distracting spiders, and pretty much nothing else, because they're just so expensive. It's not worth a slight speed upgrade for like 20 food.
The ants must protect the queen.
Or more than that. 20 food will only give you 4 tiles. They should cost like 1 food or something like that. Yeah, see, these guys are getting picked off one by one because there's not very many guys there. I'm going to go ahead and make some more decoy tiles soon. Alright. And since we're close to daytime, I don't want to open any more chambers because I want to prepare for this food here. Don't have as many ants as I would like, but we should be able to fix that today. Move everyone into these chambers. Turn off food gathering and combat for both of them. Enemy mounting doesn't matter because if they're not in combat, they're not going to mount enemies anyway. Although they will fight enemies that attack them when combat's off. So I guess that would be a thing. But at that point, they're just going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can put them right here if you want, but you risk getting attacked by the outside enemies, and it's not really necessary. Just gives you a tiny boost to speed. Sorry about the annoying breathing sounds. Alright, put everyone out there. It's a lot of ants. You really want to have food numbers and health bars on because it makes it so much easier to tell what's going on. Especially in the leaf cutter levels where knowing how much food you can collect is really hard without doing that. Just ignore the tiger beetle larvae, or tiger cubs, if you will.
The voracious predators are difficult to see and lightning fast.
I like to call devil's coach horse larvae devil's coach foals, and tiger beetle larvae tiger cubs, or tiger beetle cubs. They won't actually attack ants if there's too many near them, so you can do what they call babysitting and just park a bunch of ants on there to prevent them from actually attacking anyone. But really, it's more useful to just let them eat your ants and not worry about them. Turn off combat. Actually, we're going to keep it on until we kill this guy. Wow, we had so many tanks attacking him that it did. Oh, for pity's sake, I did the wrong one.
The colony is starving. There is not enough food to feed the new brood.
There will be. Again, overspending habit in full force. We're going to turn on food collection for the workers. And I'd like to collect some tiger beetle food real quick. But, not sure if that's going to be 100% worth it. Collect the food. You're just sitting there. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, prepare for this. The voracious predators are not difficult to see. Look at this. They stand out like a sore thumb, even without health bars. I mean, I know ants don't have very good eyesight, but come on.
There are intruders in the nest.
Making sure I don't overspend this time.
More ants have been caught by tiger beetle larvae, lying in wait.
Yes, they have. Whenever you have challenge mode on, the narrator will not shut up about it. It's kind of funny. The only food that's close enough to harvest quickly, other than the indoor food, is this food, and there's so many tiger beetle larvae, it's not really worth it. Let's actually send these guys out here to collect that. Make a few more bait tiles, because I am worried about the spiders. Especially since we're probably going to have to fight them at the same time as crabs, because,
There are intruders.
by the way, workers harvest food from corpses faster than soldiers do. We're probably going to have to fight the last two waves at the same time, because wave 2 is like 25 crabs, and you probably won't have enough time to kill them before wave 3 starts. Wave 3 is not bad in and of itself, but having to deal with it at the same time as every crab on the planet is. Alright, now I think it's time to go outside. Gonna try and avoid these guys for the most part. At least at first, you know. See this little area around the cursor where I can see? I wish you could make that bigger, it's kind of annoying. Also, sometimes it'll affect the shadows a little bit if you mouse over certain parts of the terrain. I'm not sure exactly what causes that, but it's kind of funny when it does happen. Now, you can actually steal food from these areas without triggering the tiger beetles if you time it correctly. You time it so all of them are... you time it so all the tiger beetles are away, and then you run in, grab food, and then run back. It's not worth it. You get very little food, and it takes forever. Actually, I'm only going to send one group over there.
An ant has fallen victim to a beetle larva trap. They must watch their step. The voracious predators are difficult to see and lightning fast.
The tiger beetle larvae actually give you quite a bit of food, if you could kill them. But again, mortar ants. Not worth it.
The water is rising quickly. The ants must head for higher.
I'm just going to focus entirely on collecting more food and not on trying to make more tiles now. I have enough tiles. 92 ants is plenty. Just need to make sure I don't run out of food. So we won't have much time to collect food. Look how many wood ants there are going back and forth. That's insane. Alright, everybody back home. Hopefully this is going to be enough. Each ant respawn costs either 5 or 6 food. So, actually just 5 food. I was wrong. Oh, I have a little extra food. That's good. So I guess we'll make some more. Final wave coming up.
It has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
Gonna put these guys up here so they can defend their group, their nest tiles, and these guys down here for the same reason. Actually, no, we're gonna be fighting the crabs first? Did we fight crabs first? I don't remember. You can also fight enemies outside at night for food if you want, but that's a really bad idea because early on, they're too strong for you to fight, and later on, you don't have enough time in between waves to safely do that. Also, another reason you don't want to fight the spiders outside your nest is because if you do so, then you have to fight all of them at once instead of having them split up from your bait tiles, of which I have quite a lot. I don't remember if the first wave is crabs or spiders, but we'll find out shortly. Hopefully we have enough to kill the crabs quickly. Alright, excellent. We got more spiders. You actually get a fair bit of food from these waves. It's really nice. If you have waves turned on in free play, you don't actually get any food from them, which is a shame. I never realized this before, but the nighttime music for this level is the same as the music for New Home, which is very interesting. It took me a while to realize that. Really hope I can clear all these guys out before crab time. Let's actually turn on food gathering for one group, just to make sure we have enough. I don't know why they're all conglomerating at the bottom. It's a little odd, but whatever. Turn food gathering on for everybody, I think. We're good. Yeah, if you have too many decoy tiles, then the waves will take too long to fight, and they might bleed over into the next wave, so that was probably a bad idea on my part. Because again, the spiders on this level, or on this wave, are not, on this night, are not that bad. The crabs are. Now we want to fight them slightly away from the queen. That way, once the spiders show up... Oh, we're full on food. Oh, we have 99 ants. That's going to bug me. Just get one more.
More hermit crabs have found the nest.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 hermit crabs, unless I miscounted, in which case it's probably 25. But yeah, you want them slightly away from the queen. That way if a spider attacks the queen, then you'll be able to fight it too. Don't rely on the idea that you'll be able to kill them all before the next wave. It's also good to fight them in this narrow corridor so they can't get all of them to attack you at once. Wood ants actually excel in narrow corridors. Oh great, the gunners are blocking the tanks from getting through. I didn't expect that. That's not good. Look at this, they keep bonking off the sides. If I break this, will that help? Yeah, probably. There we go, that'll work better. It's very satisfying seeing like a million different wood ants shooting at the enemy. They got like all of them at half health, but they haven't killed more than a couple. That's a little annoying when they have their damage all spread out. They kill the rest. Once they kill, for every crab you kill, the damage on the rest of them goes up because the fire gets more concentrated. See, wave 3 already. It's 2 big spiders and a billion little babies.
A huge wolf spider has found the colony.
You might think, oh, well, the babies have very little health, so the mortar ants' area of effect should be good on them. Nope, because they move so fast, it's almost impossible for the mortars to actually hit them. We got plenty of food, though. That's good. This was way easier than I expected it to be, honestly, which is great. Excellent. We've only got 1 big spider left to kill, and then we just gotta clear out the babies.
The queen is in imminent danger.
I wouldn't say imminent. She's being attacked by little babies. Meanwhile, they're all crazy confused. By the way, I think if you zoom in on the babies, they actually have the same... They have the old texture. Originally, there was a different kind of spider. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but it was a different kind of spider, but they changed it after they realized that that kind of spider doesn't live in the place where this level takes place. This level takes place on a French beach, by the way, if you were curious. Let's take a look at these little spiders. Sand bear wolf spiderling, 25 health, 5 melee attack damage. Considering how many of them there are, that's crazy. All of our tanks are dead. That's a bit oof. But we've almost got all of them. Shut up about imminent danger. This is not what imminent danger looks like. There we go. They're all dead. Fantastic. And I'm going to make 1 more ant just so we have an even 100 because it's going to bug me if I don't. It'd be nice if the level would end once you kill the last wave, but you have to wait for daytime to come. So that's a little annoying, but it's a thing that happens. Let's see how many of each ant I have. 38 tanks and 62 gunners. Might have wanted to make a few more tanks, but it all worked out in the end. I'm just going to keep making gunners, because there's no threats after this wave, so it's fine. I can just spend as much food as I like. Ta-da! So that's Rising Tide completed on Impossible difficulty with the challenge active with mortar wood ants. Again, don't upgrade them, it's not worth it.
Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to
I've always wondered why they don't have the nest entrances be ant hills. I guess because you can't get invaded if you have ant hills, except by other ant colonies, and they want to be able to get invaded by like enemies and stuff. But I don't know. Now, if you click play more, you can keep playing, and the waves will actually continue to get harder and harder every night. And even just night 4 is crazy hard. So don't do that unless you want a big challenge. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to be making more tutorials. I'm going to be doing Queen of the Hill with Rapid Fire, Leafcutter levels with Stun, Fire Ant levels with Pervasive, and Tier 5 levels with whatever variant I didn't use, because I kind of used both variants for those levels. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Outro words. Bye.